Hi, Shanna Forrestall here with Not Just Small Talk, and my guest today is Marc Pagani. I'm so excited to have him on the show. Our worlds had operated very close, but had not crossed, and people who lived in New Orleans, we both love photography, we both love whiskey, we have some of the same favorite restaurants, and we had never met. But this year, we got to collaborate on a creative photo shoot, and I'm really excited. We had a great time working together. I just learned a lot from him, and I think he's just a beautiful purist when it comes to photography. He understands the original technology, and he also is looking forward into what's happening now. I think you're going to enjoy this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Marc Pagani of Marc Pagani Photography. You're going to love this. Talk soon. Hi, Shanna Forrestall here with Not Just Small Talk, and my guest today is Marc Pagani. He's a photographer that I had the privilege of working with recently. I saw that he was doing a shoot in the desert, and I reached out. We didn't even know each other. I had been following him on social, stalking him on social, and I reached out, so we collaborated on a shoot, which was really fun, and I have some prints from that. So he does beautiful work, and these were shot in Joshua Tree in California. And what I love about Marc is that he does understand and use digital technology, but he also uses some of the older tools. So let's talk about that. So in this shoot, you had a Hasselblad and you had something else.
Yeah, I was shooting with the Hasselblad camera, which is this particular camera was built in about 1975, 1980. And it uses medium format film, which is 2¼ inch by 2¼ inch film. So we get 12 shots on a roll. And I also used a large format camera, which is the old school. You've seen, they look like they have a bellows, and you stand behind it and cover your head like this.
Like the old-timey
Like the
ones.
old-timey cameras, which is shooting with a 4x5 piece of film, 4" by 5" piece of film. And with those cameras, you can only shoot, each film holder holds 2 pieces of film, 1 on each side. And so if you bring, 5 film holders with you, which are pretty large, you can only shoot 10 images in a whole session. So a whole afternoon, we're only shooting 10 images.
So this is a really different way of shooting than we're shooting these days, because we're doing digital. Everybody shoots like 1,000 photos and hopes they get one good one.
Right.
You have to really focus and really plan and then make those shots count, because you might just get 10 for a day.
Yep. That's
wow, that's incredible. So what got you into photography?
I was working as a music therapist. I got my undergrad degree in music therapy, and the place where I worked had a darkroom facility, a really nice one that no one was using. And I was working with sexually, physically abused kids, doing music therapy with them, but I worked for a recreation therapy department who allowed us to basically, any sort of program we wanted to run, as long as it was therapeutic, we could do that. And so around that time, a friend of mine had just started showing me her black and white prints. She started working in the darkroom as well. So I got a couple books, learned how to work in the darkroom, learned how to shoot basic, photography stuff, aperture, shutter speed, that kind of stuff, and taught myself and started working with the kids in the darkroom as well. And that kind of boosted my excitement about the whole situation.
That's amazing. So you've been doing this for 22 years, you said
Yeah, I've been
now?
shooting...
You've been a professional.
Professionally for 22 years. I've been shooting altogether for about 25 years.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you've learned a lot. What do you see as far as like the future of photography, if you had to guess?
Well, I mean, everyone's shooting, so many people are shooting with their phones these days, and you can get decent quality. I just got the new iPhone 11 Pro,
did you?
and it has three lenses on it, and actually shoots pretty nicely. So I think everyone who shoots a photo automatically thinks they're a photographer.
Right.
Which is a little frustrating as a photographer who's been working at this for many years. But, that doesn't mean I don't encourage people to shoot as much as they can as a hobby. But I think it's either going to go one or two ways. It's going to go, everyone's just shooting with their phone, and the level of quality is kind of going to go down and down, and what the standard of what makes a great photo is going to decrease. Or it could possibly go where people like me who are using some of the older technology, everything's cyclical, you know, so maybe film will come back and that'll be the kind of the cool thing to do, and the thing that's kind of revered. but it's hard to say.
Things do tend to come back around.
Yeah, they
I
do.
will say that in
Yeah.
everything. They
Yeah.
tend to come back around. They don't disappear forever. Records are back.
Exactly.
Highest number of sales of records this
Yeah.
year in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But we're nostalgic that way as
Yeah.
humans, and I think that's kind of good that we can go back to older technology and maybe see it in a new way or even use it in a new way.
For sure.
Or blend it with new tools. So if someone, what I love about photography is that it kind of gives all of us a personal way to view the world, and we are able to capture things that we see that might be different than someone else.
For sure.
Because two people can see the same thing, the same scene, or the same person, but they see two different things and they want to express it two different ways.
And the same way with two different photographers can see the exact same scene and shoot it
Right.
two completely different
Right.
ways.
Some of the most fun I've had is collaborative days. I'm just an amateur. Are you getting arrested? I'm just an amateur photographer. I haven't been trained or anything, although I would like to do that at some point in my life. But one of the things that I love most is just like collaboration days where we get together, we get a few bodies and some props and multiple photographers, and we'll just go out and play. And it's very interesting to me to see the way people interpret an image or a scene or a person in very, very different ways with different mediums and different tools.
Yep.
And that's I don't know. I think personal interpretation is important, and that's what art's all about.
Right.
If someone's out there and they want to be a better photographer, even if it's just at an amateur level, what can they do to improve their skills or to improve their eye or to just get better at this?
Well, I mean, you can do this even if you're just shooting with a phone. But if you do have a digital camera, even if it's just a point and shoot, low price, starter level, you can learn about photography in general, the technical aspects. So learning about aperture and shutter speed and composition and how those things all kind of intertwine, focus, depth of field, all this kind of really basic photography stuff that you can either read about in a book. These things that have pages. You might have, it's this old thing. Again, old school technology. Or you can watch a
YouTube video, because there's a
tutorial.
billion.
Yep. I think, understanding how the camera sees light will help you see light better. It'll also help you just overall in your photography. So learning all those technical aspects will really help.
That's great. So you have a website.
I do.
And what is that?
That's marcpagani.com. It's MarcPagani.com.
So marcpagani.com. And you can also follow him on Instagram and see some of his work.
Yep.
And you have multiple Instagrams. Which one?
Yeah, I have Marc Pagani, and I have Marc Pagani Portraits and Marc Pagani Weddings, and one that's called Nola Boudoir.
So whatever kind of art, photography art that you're interested in, maybe follow one or more of his Instagrams. Yeah. He's a busy man. He's always on the run, and he's very interesting to follow. You have a beautiful eye, and he has an interesting repertoire of photography work that he does, which I enjoy.
Thanks.
So, thanks so much for meeting with me today.
Yeah,
it's good to connect with you again.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, everybody. Shanna Forrestall with Not Just Small Talk with my guest, photographer Marc Pagani.